3.5% ACOS, $63,000 in sales in just the last 65 days. Since I launched this campaign back in 2024 September, this campaign has yielded over $200,000 in sales at around the same ACOS, about 3.8%. While this campaign is generating a ton of sales, it's also generating a ton of keywords in the background that I'm going to use to harvest and move into exact match campaigns so that I can move these products into long-term keyword domination. While most sellers are using auto campaigns completely wrong and giving up on them, I'm going to show you how to use low-cost auto campaigns to do the keyword harvesting for you. Hi everyone, I'm Matthew, and if you're new here, welcome. I help Amazon sellers build strategies that work. I'm not gonna waste your time. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna show you this auto campaign that I've been running. It is what I call a low bid auto campaign, and it's targeting all the products in a particular brand. As you can see here, the last 65 days, the ACOS is 3.52% with $63,000 of sales. First, we're going to look at how this was set up. I'm going to go to the ad group, then I'm going to go to targeting, and then you can see the targeting that I'm doing. I'm doing close match, loose match. I have all the targets in one campaign. Now, this is an older campaign. What I would actually probably do going forward is set up 4 different auto campaigns for each match type, but you can keep it simple and do the same thing here. As you can tell, this campaign is highly effective at a 3%, 4% ACOS. You can see my bids are low. Now, these bids were optimized over time. You can see the Amazon suggested bid at $1.01, and I'm bidding 25 cents. You can see the loose match at 90 cents suggested, I'm at 21, and so on. You can see my bids are way below the suggested. What I would do is set up 2 different auto campaigns, one with the suggested bids, and then you want to keep an eye on that every 3 days to 7 days to be sure that it's not overspending, because you are competing at that point. And then set up an ultra low bid relative to the suggested bid and get this more leeway. Check in on it every 2 weeks, make optimization. If you're not getting impressions, then your bids are way too low. As you can see, this campaign is getting 541,000 impressions in the last 30 days. What's interesting is that these low bids are generating a lot of impressions, a lot of data for me, and I'm going to keep it that way. I don't need to go up to the suggested bid. If I want to get aggressive, then I would also have that other campaign running as well, where it is competing for the suggested bid. What do you want to do? We're getting sales. This is great. What I would do is I check the search terms. So over to the left, you can see the search terms, and you can click on that. And what I might do is I set the date range to the last 65 days to get all the data. 30 days is more relevant because it's the recent data, but 65 days, if I want to pull this in, let's say I haven't checked this in a while, what I'm going to do is I might sort this by orders. I could sort it by clicks. I could sort it by impressions. I'm sort it by clicks to see what is the highest volume clicks that's happening on this campaign and really look to find those keywords. As you can see, the brand that this is under is Nuri Sardines. The first biggest category is Nuri Sardines. This isn't anything miraculous, of course. These products are going to come up under Nuri Sardines, so it's not really giving me any information there. However, if I advertise on the keyword sardines, it's generating a 4.46% ACOS. That's really low for a general search term that has a massive amount of traffic. Sardines as a simplified search term is probably the biggest out of the entire category. I can see that if I run this product on sardines, I have a shot at running it at 4.46%. I would actually take that keyword if I wasn't running it as an exact match and pull that out and put it in my list for exact match campaigns, sardines. The other one is sardines with olive oil. That's interesting. It's still very close to the product. Let's see if we can find anything else that's interesting here. We have a competitor that's coming up called King Oscar Sardines. And we're running this. It's getting 18,000 impressions and 148 clicks and 25 purchases. This is running at a 3% ACOS. Pretty amazing when you're running it against a competitor and the ACOS is so low. That is another opportunity there. What I also notice is we're highly converting on very specific terms like sardines and tomato sauce, sardines and olive oil, Portuguese sardines. Now, with the products where it says sardines and tomato sauce or sardines and olive oil, what I would do is I would look at the individual products in the catalog and just choose the products that match that up perfectly. For instance, if I have sardines and tomato sauce, I'm going to take that exact match and apply it to that product. I probably wouldn't apply it to the sardines and olive oil. You can also see examples where the ACOS gets a lot higher than that 3 or 4% threshold. Very vague terms like tinned fish, where everybody's competing on that, and somebody might have a very particular brand that they like. 23% ACOS. Now, that is still very reasonable to compete in the tinned fish area, but that is something that's an outlier there. Here's one where it's competing directly on a direct competitor, and the ACOS is 26.79%. And that's much higher than the 4%. But still, if I want to snag those customers, I might set up exact match campaigns going after those as a product target because the conversion is still quite good. The ACOS is still quite good, but I would probably target the lowest hanging fruit first, depending on how much time you have and how much budget you have. Here you can see a competitor of Nuri is Matisse Tin Fish, and you can see 35 clicks, 4 purchases, and 6% ACOS. And again, that is very good. Here's the problem though, the conversion is closer to 10%. That conversion is decent, but not amazing. You want to also weigh the clicks versus the purchase rate. You really want to shoot for much higher conversion rates, and that can tell you where you're at. For instance, here's a keyword that says Pinhas sardines. That's 18 purchases against 42 clicks. That's almost a 50% conversion rate. Of course, Pinhas is the name of the manufacturer of Nuri. Of course, the conversion is going to be high, but that's a really good keyword term as a brand defense strategy to run an exact match against. You can see how the auto campaigns can be extremely valuable for you to discover all the keywords, all the natural search terms people are doing. I never really thought people would search in these ways on a lot of these keywords, but it's amazing to see all the impressions. This is real data. This is Amazon giving you the real data. And I'm getting that for essentially free because I'm paid about $2,800, but I got $82,000 of sales. And then I'm getting all that data as a side note that the data is actually way more valuable. The data is extremely valuable to generate much more sales, to grow the brand. Now, when you set up an auto campaign, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you choose the bidding strategy. Maybe start a little on the low end. A lot of people will say set your budget at $10. If I want to move my brand, I might set my budget at $50 and keep an eye on that every day. See what's going on. You can always decrease your bid. It's a very competitive environment in the market, and you need to get your product out there and get the testing done so you can iterate and make things a lot better very quickly. Getting back to that search term report, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an exact match on one of the products in Nuri. And that actually might be the easiest, quickest thing to do initially. We're going to go ahead and set up a campaign now, right? I'm going to go to all campaigns, and then we're going to go to create campaign. I'm going to show you how to create the auto campaign and how to create the exact match. We went to the sponsored products and we went to create campaign to get to these two screens. I basically duplicated the window because we're going to create two different campaigns. One, I'm going to show you the auto campaign. So here I might type in the brand Nuri to pull up all the products that are there. If I wanted to target all of them, do something quick. If you're running one product, then select one product, keep it on auto, and then you can go default bid and it will do 60 cents on everything. And right here it's telling you the range, do 47 to 66. Let's do 23 cents for all. We're going to do a low bid auto campaign setup. I'm not going to do any negative keywords. Here, you can move to dynamic bids down if you want to. I'll do a top of search of maybe 50%, which means basically for me to hit the top of search, which is where a lot of the buying takes place, I'm going to pay 50% higher than these bids here. So that's going to be about 34 cents on that bid for top of search. And then for my campaign, you want to choose a set naming strategy, but I'm going to do this quick. You can choose whatever you want, but the brand here is Nuri. It's an auto campaign, and I'm not going to click send, but I'm showing you this here. This is a low bid strategy, and then I'm going to do $50 because of what I know about the brand, the margins and things like that, and the volume of the category. Then when I would do the campaign name, you want to choose your campaign names to where you are understanding what is going on there, and systematically you're going to want to set a campaign naming strategy that deals with that. We're going to do United States, and then click launch campaign. That is how you set up your auto campaign. But now we're going to do the exact match. So what I might want to do is target this thing that I have here, Nuri sardines and spiced tomato 4-pack. So I'm going to target one product of Nuri. If I wanted to search the thing, again, I might type in Nuri and search. And maybe I don't want to target that. Maybe I want to start moving the sardines and lemon. I'm going to do a manual targeting now. And then from the keyword search, we're going to do enter list, get rid of broad, get rid of phrase, remove this. And we're going to do Portuguese sardines. That was one of the keywords. And now let's enter it. And it comes in at a reasonable 61 cents. It's much higher than the auto campaign. But remember, the ACoS was pretty low. And then check back on this in about 3 days to about a week and adjust a bit. If the ACoS is coming in too high, then lower the bid. If the ACoS is low, then maybe increase a bit if the impressions aren't there. If there are no impressions when you come out with a bid on any campaign, you need to increase your bids. Fixed bids to start out, and then I'll go with dynamic bids down later. Because the bid is pretty high, I'm probably not going to do a top of search. And then what I might do is I'll call this Nuri lemon, and then the search term, and then exact. And then whatever budget really works for you. This is all up to you. Again, here with this campaign name, I know exactly when I see this in the list, what it's for. Now, make sure you have really good naming conventions. In the end, keywords are everything, but you need to find the keywords. Auto campaigns will help you scrape those keywords from real Amazon customer data, and it will allow you to optimize your ads so you can get more sales, grow your brand, and make more money. Isn't that what it's all about? This is what I want you to do. I want you to go into your Seller Central, go to your ad manager. If you haven't already, set up an auto campaign. Low bid if you want, or 2 different ones, suggested bid and low bid. Let them run for 30 days. Keep an eye on them like you should with every campaign. And then start looking for those keywords and setting up exact match campaigns and see what happens with your brand. See how your ranks improve and grow over time.